just wanted to dance a little bit more. To your Dream Do Done broadcast. It's your accountability broadcast every Monday, 1-ish, and it is 1-ish on East Coast time. We are here again for another episode of Dream Do Done, talking about the process to progress, right? It's not overnight. Like, we are all working through it. We wrote a journal. I just had a thought of an old sketch comedy, Living Color. You remember that one? And totally off what we're talking about today, but wrote a book about it. Here it is. Well, here. All right, you see what kind of spirit I'm in today, but I'm excited. It's always a pleasure to be here with the how-to coach, Tamara Hartley, and the pulpit chick, Serena Brown Travis, who hopefully will be able to join in. We're all doing real life business every day as mothers, as wives, and as business owners. So when things happen, you got to be nimble and be able to move and do what you need to do. So we appreciate you joining us and sharing the broadcast as we bring you information. And shout out to everyone who's purchased their Dream Do Done journal and letting us know how that's been benefiting you on the journey. And of course, at the end of the show, we always tell you how you can take the conversation further. But I want to pass it over to my How To Coach co-host, the one and only birthday girl herself. So let's hear it for the birthday girl. One time for the birthday girl. And shout out on her. Woo!
All right. Don't make me do what I was doing all weekend now.
So we are still celebrating. Her birthday was the 20th. But you know how we feel. It's all month long birthday celebrations here. Hey, Kia. Good afternoon, darling. Great to see you. Thanks for joining in on the broadcast. So over to you, birthday lady.
Yes, thank you everyone for all of your calls, your texts, and social media posts. Stacy, for your call. It was just a wonderful weekend. I also was very productive. It's so funny. I didn't do much as far as go anywhere, but I got a lot of stuff done. And I kept telling people, I said, you know what? I'm doing something for my birthday for me. I said, I'm giving myself $1 million. So I got to get this project done because it's definitely $1 million project.
I know that's right.
In true fashion, I was the how-to coach over the weekend, but thank you all again. And I'm happy to be here today and just very excited. Life is good.
Life is good, and we're taking care of ourselves. I can already see the glow on you. I know I am fired up. It's exciting when you see the results of putting yourself first and the clarity that you get. We've been talking about this. This is our third season, the things that you need to be doing. So once you have the dream, because some people try to be dream stealers, right? They try to stop you from dreaming a bigger dream and seeing what's possible for your life. But when you're courageous enough to dream, you have to take the next step. You have to start doing something in order to celebrate getting it done. And that's where we're here, holding you accountable to the very thing that you say you want to do. As Serena's father would say, there's greatness in you. And he says it all the time, very intentionally, because he knows that people need to be reminded of the greatness in them. And as we go through this broadcast, it's an opportunity to just highlight some of the areas that you need to focus on and the things that can be of benefit to you. And we put it in the book, right? So we put it in a place that you can start to document and figure out what's next for you. How do you show up each and every day looking for the very thing that you say you want? So Kia said, happy birthday, Queen Tara.
Thank you.
Oh, yours is February 8th. Okay. Well, happy birthday to you, darling. And yes, you must celebrate all month long. I know I do. So I advise everybody else to do the same. I don't rain on your parade because, honey, when October hits, it's on and popping.
And February is stacked, though. I'm just learning. So many people reached out like, I'm your birthday twin. I done found so many of my twins over this weekend. I'm like, wow, okay, February is stacked.
Yeah, and I'm surrounded by all of you. Oh my Lord! Like, out of all the rest of the year, I'm like, Lord, I can't get away from all.
And like my kids say, I'm special with a Z. So it's February, people. We pretty special.
Yes, indeed.
We admit it.
Not a problem with it, and I love every single one of you. So today for our show, we're going to focus on yet another portion of a lesson that we shared in the book. And it's you can't fix what you don't face. That was actually my quote that I contributed to the book because I know that was something for me. Like a lot of times we go through certain things in life, whether it be personal or for business, and we'll take it from the business standpoint, that things are moving or growing in a direction that we would like them to, but we ignore what's happening. It's like if you're bleeding, if you just ignore the fact that you're bleeding, you don't do anything to stop the bleeding and care for the wound, is it going to go away? No, it's going to become a gaping hole, cancer, an abscess, and require, surgery. When if you had just cleaned it up, put a Band-Aid on it, and worked on giving it time to actually heal, you could face what you need to fix, right? And be able to get to the other side. So that's what the focus of our conversation is. One of the things we wanted to put in is really understanding your numbers, because that's a big part of really being in position to get the result that you want, particularly in business. So I'm going to let Tamara go ahead and shoot off some of that information that we have here on this particular topic.
Absolutely. And I just want to just put a pin on that. As a parent of young adults, that is one of the main lessons that I have had to teach young adults coming into adulting, is not to bury your head in the sand, that you really do have to face things head on. That's a part of being an adult, because it is easy to want to retreat, to not pay attention to what's going on, but you have to face it. And that's one of the reasons why when we're talking about money, some people don't have a great relationship with money. When it comes to business and money, you really do have to focus on those numbers and know where you need to adjust and what needs to take place. And that was a place I buried my head in the sand a long time, because everything was so pretty. I wasn't worried about the money. I was doing ministry. Remember, we talked about that. And then I started paying attention to the money. So financial literacy is defined as the possession of the set of skills and knowledge that allows an individual to make informed and effective decisions with all of their financial resources. How are you expanding your skill set to increase and sustain your personal economy and grow intergenerational wealth?
That's a big one.
Look, that's what I just said. That right there is powerful. Like all the different things in there, a skill set. What are you doing to grow it, to leave intergenerational wealth, not just create wealth for yourself, but for generations to come? There's so much in that if you really think about it. And we all need to really be focused on that. And this isn't this is why we put it in here. We don't want you to forget all of these things, or focus on one thing at a time. You need to think about all of these little things here.
Absolutely. So the piece of that you just highlighted, because of everything that we have listed down here, is informed and effective, right? Because I think that is the challenge that most people have when we talk about not really focusing on the things that you need to fix. They're not necessarily getting their information from places that can inform them, that are effective in how you make those financial decisions, right? We feel like if we talk to an individual who has not yet accomplished any real financial gain, that they would have the knowledge base and the capacity to help you, right? So we also have to check our resources. Like, what is it that we are using as a benchmark for the information to fix the things that we're facing, right? What are the effective and informed decisions? And those will introduce you to a whole new way of thinking about how you show up, how you use things as potentially insurance products that can be a growth tool. People use real estate as a growth tool. People use businesses and entities. So that's a knowledge capacity that you would not have if you're talking to people who've never been, one, down that road, exposed to it, or have an expertise in it.
Yeah. And I recently did a survey. I every so often I try to do a survey amongst my audience of people and just kind of get a sense of where they are. And one of the questions that was a part of that survey asked about, if you're living your dream, if not, why? And for whatever reason, about 84% of the people that I surveyed, they all said the reason they weren't living their dreams had to do with financial reasons. Money is a big motivator, but it's also something that holds people back as well. People who don't think they have enough, they don't think they have the monetary resources to start that business. And maybe you're dealing with that. Maybe you're procrastinating or holding back because of financial reasons. And I have to show people all the time, that's really not what should be holding you back. We need to really rethink that, because if money is holding you back, then money is an issue, and it can be an issue even if you start a business. So you really have to think about money differently. You have to use money differently. And one of the things that I really liked about this is, making good decisions with your financial resources. And that's what we don't do. And so it's easier to say, oh, I can't do that because I don't have the money, instead of finding the money. I had a conversation with one of my young people, and they were trying to figure out all the things they could cut out to fit into their budget. I said, or let's flip that conversation. What about, what do you need to do to get more resources so that you could keep the things that you want and need right now? And just thinking about that a little differently. Maybe you might need to change jobs. Maybe you need to do something else. Maybe you need to start a side hustle. I don't really know what those answers are if I don't know your particular situation. But all the times we think about just cut back, cut back, cut back. But if you have goals and dreams and things you're trying to do, you need to take your head out the sand and figure out how you're going to finance those, whether it's personally, whether you're going to get an investor, whether you're going to do a bank loan. There's all kind of resources out there, but you need to figure out what those resources are for you and the best thing for you to do to get it done, instead of just saying, I'm not going to do it because I can't.
Right, right. And just giving up, like throwing your hands in the air, waving them like you just don't care. There's always an opportunity. I'm a special child. I'm one of God's special children. But there's always, if you can just think, Linda Clemens, my dear friend and mentor, and one of my coaches, she was saying this in the beginning of COVID. Like, if you're panicked, you can't pivot. And when there's something that you're trying to fix or looking to fix or want to do, it's going to require some sort of shift, some sort of pivot. But if you panic about, like, oh, well, I just got to throw that away or give that up, then you can't think clearly of the possibilities and reimagining what you could potentially do to get your result. So journaling and using this as a strategy on how you move forward, it gives you a chance to really think through what it is that you could possibly do. And that's what's important. Like, we really have to take the time to, one, believe enough in who we are, bet on yourself, that there are some solutions that you're going to come up with. There are some things that you can do. Namesake, you laughing at me? Hey, Stacy. Hey, Greta, good to see you. And yes, special, exactly. We're special children, but we really want you to think about just where you are, especially in relationship to where the world is. And it's the people who can look at their structures, their systems, and be able to make smart choices and decisions that will outlive this crisis. Because trouble don't last always. I believe the stats are still high on the amount of millionaires that came out of the Great Depression, right? So it's not a woe is me. It's on the lens that you're viewing the world through. And how are you mapping out a strategy that's going to make you stronger and even more resilient as a result of the lessons that you learn? So the thought of gratitude that we have here is, I choose to be fiscally responsible, a good steward of my resources, and pay close attention to the details, right? And I think that's what's key. There's no judgment zone here. We've all been through the ups and downs and the growth, especially for my small business owners that are watching, my entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, wannabe-preneurs, whatever kind of preneur you are. You have a beginning, and that beginning might not be as smooth as you anticipated or everything flow the way that you thought it would. But here's the good news. You're still here. Another day to figure it out, to refine it, to adjust it, to put it in position and take training, information, investing in yourself, and getting not only the journal, being a part of our masterclass. All of us have programs that we offer within our individual companies. Like, what's the next step that you're taking so that you can actually see the action and the traction in your results?
Yeah. And I really like being a good steward. We hear that, we grew up hearing it in church, and you hear it, but what does that really mean? And really, it really means that you're being fiscally responsible. And I think that is a great thing of gratitude to have, that we have resources that we are over, that we have resources that we can control, that we have resources that we can invest, that we have resources to do some of the things we want to do. And to be a good steward means it's not being wasted. It's not being wasted. And I think that is a huge responsibility, but I think it's a great one to have. We have the autonomy to be over our finances and to make changes as necessary.
Absolutely. Greta says she's still here praying and pushing. Absolutely. Like every day is an opportunity to learn and grow from what we learned yesterday, and the day before that, and the year before that. It's a constant evolution. And just don't get stuck on the hiccups. Don't get stuck on the bumps in the road. Don't get stuck that, oh my gosh, I do have a cut and nobody else has a cut, so I'm the only one with a cut. No, everybody gets cut. But the people who are able to deal with the cut, it doesn't turn into a gaping wound. And then they don't need, heart surgery, right? Like it becomes something that they can manage early on, because the sooner you face it, the faster you can fix it and move on. Fail fast and forward. Keep moving and doing the thing that you need to do.
So just going back to what Stacy read first, her quote for this: you can't fix what you won't face. That is so powerful. And I really hope you can see how all of this is working together, from the quote to the thought of gratitude to the actual lessons that we're focusing on in this particular section. All of this stuff is so intentional. It's intentional, and it's really designed to help you deal with these things that will come along your process and help you to progress. Like this is what we're thinking about. And this is what this journal really is designed to do. It's really not some frilly journal for you to just write some visions down that you don't actually go back and visit. It ties it all together as some lessons that you can learn, some lessons that you can implement, and things you can do to really make your business strong. All of us talk about on this show how we've had some ups and downs, how we started out, we didn't have this. I wish I had this journal when I first started. I mean, I'm selfish with this journal because we created this because this is what I would have wanted to have for myself because of some of the things that I've learned. We're trying to help you learn it even faster, and that you won't have all the cuts and bruises, even though you'll still have some. We're trying to help you as far as what we've learned to share so that your journey is a little bit different and a little bit faster and has a little more ease.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't want you to go through the things that we went through. We're shortening the learning curve. Any good teacher, mentor, coach is going to help you shorten the learning curve and share what it is that they have been able to transform, not only in their lives, but the lives of those who've invested to work with them and to grow with them, so that you can get the thing that you desire. That's the ultimate place. So that quote came from a real place. Like there was some things that I was just trying to ignore. Like the kids when they try to do peekaboo and they think they're really gone. Like if you just do that it just, no, we can still see you. Like it's still there.
It's still there. It's still there.
It's still there. So you have to face it so that you can fix it. And our goal and desire is, as we have these conversations and we give one idea, you might not implement every idea that we've talked about on this show. But as my good friend Shay Brown loves to talk about, one good idea, if you implement one good idea that you get and you're able to track the results from that, guess what? Then you can implement the next idea and then the next idea. And then it starts to become this avalanche of brilliance just coming out of you, just pouring, just doing, because you've moved from the dreaming stage and you're actually started doing. And then you can track one by one all the things that you can get done.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Greta. You just purchased yours. All right. Thank you. And we can't wait to get your feedback. We know it works. Hey, Shaquan, how you doing? Another powerful author and sister. So it's about making sure that on this journey, you're careful about who you're aligning yourself with, that there's some value add there, right? As we said in this quote, to make informed and effective decisions with all their financial resources. So don't try to be the expert in a space you're not an expert in. I have a financial advisor. That's not my lane, right? So I'm going to talk to a financial advisor to get information. I'm not an accountant. I'm a hired accountant that's doing the work. Know where your area of brilliance is, but make sure you have the right people on your team that are going to be able to move you in the direction that you need to be. And ultimately, in this season of what we see happening, we understand how important our stewardship over our finances and our growth is. And we want to be a good steward of everything that we have. So,
absolutely.
You were about to say something, Tamara,
Yeah,
before we start winding down.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, as solopreneurs, small business owners, just getting started, thinking about, what she said, wannabe-preneur, you know, you tend to want to cut back on everything because you think you're being a good steward and you're trying to cut corners and cut back and not invest in those professional services. But I've learned that that's not the way to go. It's not about cutting corners. That's just kind of what I was, trying to share with my daughter. You got to figure out what resources you have that you can put towards these professional services, because you do need to invest in yourself. You do need to invest in those important parts of your business so that you can have a good foundation. And a lot of times businesses fail because they skip over stuff. You have a great business, but you don't invest in the marketing. You have a great business, but you don't have an accountant. You don't have a lawyer. You don't have those resources in your arsenal of people that can actually help you have a good foundation in business. So don't cut the corners. When you're being a good steward, I know it feels like that's a strategy, but being a good steward doesn't just mean cutting the corners. It means being wise and making sure you're spending where you need to so that you can earn even more and grow even bigger and faster.
Exactly, because ultimately you want to have the capacity to bring the people on the team that you need to bring, and at whatever stages, because there were certain things that I didn't invest in early on that I just didn't have the capacity to do. So I had to make some decisions on what I had the capacity to do. And then there was times where I spent money for things that I wasn't ready for because there weren't certain pieces in place. And if that piece is flipped over, like, hello, tell the truth, shit,
Oh my goodness.
my game. I thank God for deliverance. But understanding what that is so you make the right choices at the right time and you don't lose money and you invest the money properly with the right infrastructure and the right people. Because there's certain things I will never be excited about doing. And I'm okay with that. But I will pay somebody to do it. Right? So you have to understand what works for you and what you need to bring to the table to grow that capacity so you can have everybody operating in their sphere of brilliance.
Yes.
And you do what you do best. The thing that you've been put here to do.
Look, and you just picked out a whole new show topic we need to discuss. When you spend money before you're ready, oh my goodness, I did so much of that. And sometimes when you're listening to other people and you hear what they do and you just run out and do it before you investigate, that's not being a good steward. And then sometimes you're really just not ready to do some of those things. I come from a world of public relations and PR, and everybody wants to be on the news and on TV, but you don't even have the foundation of marketing materials you need to pass on to the people who make the decisions if you can be on TV. It's things like that have always, kind of burnt me up on the inside, but we do it. We spend the money before we're ready. So I think that's a show topic.
It absolutely is. And hey, my brother Jason, that's why I love what he does with mastering your media and really understanding the foundational work. And those who took advantage of it when he did the teaching for Faithpreneur Weekend and our mastermind, there was a gold mine in it. Just really being conscious of the things that need to be fixed. That's so right. It's nothing wrong with saying, oh, let me raise my hand. I might need a little assistance over here. Like, put up the church people like, hello. But you have to be willing to do the work and to have those conversations, those dangling carrots. Exactly, Greta. We see it and we're like, oh my gosh, I need to have that. I need to do that. But if you don't have all the steps in place, it becomes a challenge. So we have our sister has been doing multitasking because she has had to be what we are. Women, moms, mothers, and business owners. So before we wrap up, she's just going to come on in and share her wisdom. The pulpit chick has arrived. The pulpit chick has arrived.
Come on, so we can pass the plate.
Oh, no. Well, let me tell you this. I think about, first of all, let me thank you all for being patient with my schedule. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am in seminary school again. And they ain't playing the noise. This is not Bible study. Not only that, it is emotionally disruptive. So anyways, I got a call from one of the older parishioners at the church, and bless their hearts, the older people talk a little slower and wanted to explain the entire situation to me. And I'm like, yes, ma'am. I'm trying to get off the floor. But nonetheless, here I am. And so what I think about, I don't even know what y'all talked about, but what I will say is this: when things go wrong, don't go with them. That is a quote that my father always says. And when I tell you, it has been a roller coaster of a week that if I could curl up in a ball and put the blankets over my head, I would. However, we know that we've come this far by faith and we're still leaning on a higher presence. So nonetheless,
you gotta come in and preach it.
You see what I'm saying? That's what I said. Pass the plate so we can go ahead and wrap it on up.
And I will actually be revisiting my Dream Do Done journal to make sure I'm on track, because so much in life, as we know, so much happens on a daily basis that you're easily derailed. So I know that Tamara will be pulling my string to make sure I'm back on the railroad. Listen, she's been handling business, I will tell you that. So we will have to go there. And so nonetheless, but all is well. Life is great. I know you all are wrapping up. So again, I appreciate you all. And I look forward to our broadcast next week.
Absolutely. And Stacey said, I call it brand integrity, Tamara. Must have that in place before you're ready for some opportunities. Absolutely. And Jason is saying, hey, Serena, good to see you here.
Hey, good to see you.
And Kia and Shaquan are having a love fest because Kia invited Shaquan, and I'm glad that she did, so that we all can be here in the broadcast. And we're here 1-ish every Monday afternoon. And looking forward to engaging with you, Greta, on your feedback on the journal and anyone else who purchases. Today, we talked about you can't fix what you don't face. And the money matters, knowing your numbers. This is important for us, especially those who are building additional strategies within the work that they're doing and putting in place something to leave intergenerational wealth. So with that being said, we're going to go on and close out today with the how-to coach sharing with us how you can stay connected and be a part of, I think Serena's still multitasking, so we're going to give her a chance, but she made it in, and we're grateful for that.
Look, because that's how Dream Do Done is. You know, we do have things, but we try to make it in no matter what. So that's just proof we do what we're talking about. we ain't lied. So Stacey has been highlighting where you can get the journal. You can also visit our website. You see the little ticker going at the bottom. That's always a reminder that if you ever have any questions or you want to be a part of anything we have going on, make sure you check out the website, dreamdodone.com. That's where you find out all the information about our masterclass, when the next one is coming up, how you can get on the waiting list. Make sure you sign up on the website to do that, and you'll get all that information before anyone else does. So that's a good way to, be the first one to know what's going on. So make sure you stay tuned to dreamdodone.com. Have a great week.
Absolutely. And stay safe. We want to definitely send our prayers out for all of those who've been dealing in Texas with this just incredible infrastructure challenge on top of Mother Nature. And so many people have been affected. I feel so like my heart goes out to the deaths that have happened as a result of that. As if coronavirus wasn't enough, then we have all of this. So we're praying for them. And there's some ice and snowstorm mix going on in my neck of the woods. So everyone, just please stay safe. Stay well. Wash your hands. I know we didn't have to wait for Corona to wash your hands. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and be safe out there. We'll be back again for Dream Do Done next week, same time, same place. By the grace of God. Bye-bye, everyone.